So all these things are matching up. So
it all lines up to show and prove that this is definitely like not some sort of modification.
Right.
I mean, this is the original gun. Colby here with Rugged Tactical, where every trigger pull tells a story and responsible gun ownership is a way of life. Today we are here in Nampa, Idaho at the Lewis and Clark Gun Show. Now, I've had a great experience, a great time. I was able to hang out with the Ruger people again. We have a very special treat today. The very first video I've ever done was with Joel here, where we learned a little bit about the Super Redhawks, right? The 44 Magnum Super Redhawks. And you can check out that video right here after you watch this one. The Super Redhawk. So Joel, when it comes to Rugers, that's his bread and butter, right? Like that's what he just makes him tick. He loves the Super Redhawks. At these gun shows, we just got back from Tulsa in November. So here at Nampa Idaho Center, Rugers again have displays. Joel has a display. I've actually created my very first display of my very first Ruger. It's always fun to be able to brush shoulders with people who have a passion for hobbies, especially when it comes to collecting Rugers. Got my good old Ruger hat on today.
Very nice.
Yep. Now, having had all that said, how are you doing?
And I'm wonderful. It's great to be at the show again.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Joel. I've been collecting Super Redhawks for several years now. I got one when I was younger, and I just loved it. Loved everything about it. Hunted with it. Started getting this. It's growing. It's like you said. It's a passion, and it's something I like to do. Something that interests me. It's a driver.
What was the first inkling that just drove you specifically to the Super Redhawks?
I've liked shooting 44s. My dad is. He likes collecting the Super Blackhawks, which is the single action 44 mags. So I grew up shooting 44s, and I like that it's stainless, and so and it's just big. I mean, it feels comfortable in my hand shooting a large caliber handgun.
Yeah.
And so I remember looking at them in a Ruger catalog, and just thought, like, this is it. Like, this is so cool. The first chance I got, I picked one up.
So in our previous video, we actually went out to the gun range and we shot a couple different Super Redhawks. One was the Alaskan. The Alaskan has how long of a barrel?
It's a 2.5-inch barrel.
Okay, 2.5-inch barrel. I expected to have a lot more pop than it did. It has a still pretty good pop. To me, it was still very comfortable, very manageable.
Right.
And then what else did we have?
We shot the 9.5, which is my first one, the one that we started with. 2.5-inch barrel on the Alaskan. 7.5 is more standard, and then the 9.5 is the one that we were shooting. Here
at Nampa, you have your display. Will you introduce us a little bit to your gun and tell us a little bit about your display?
Love to. So this is a Super Redhawk. It's essentially identical to the others, with the exception of the barrel length. And so this one in particular was produced in March of 2000, and it's identical, right? It's a Super Redhawk, but they put the Ruger factory put a longer barrel on, and they did this to circumvent, so to speak, the legislation in the UK. So there was a distributor there that wanted Super Redhawks, and they ordered approximately 125 Super Redhawks with the long barrel to be able to retail sell those in that area. So this is a particular specimen that I was able to bring back from the UK with the long barrel. Now, a lot of them, and I would dare say most of them, when they got over there, most of the barrels were cut off by local gunsmiths about 12 inches, and then they would weld a brace on the bottom of the grip that came out approximately 12 inches, and that returned the gun to the overall 26-inch requirement for their length due to their gun laws, which is what my display here is trying to portray.
When we were in Tulsa, it's a showstopper. And even here in Idaho, when people come down to the displays, it's so much fun to be able to see people's reactions to this gun. They stop and they look, and then they get a little smile on their face.
Right. Yep.
And it's just so much fun to see people's expressions when they see this gun. It is atypical.
Yep, it
right?
definitely is.
Very, very unique. So how long is this barrel then?
So this barrel is 21 inches, and they count the barrel from right here in between the cylinder and the frame all the way to the end. That's how they measure the barrel length, and it's 21 inches.
You've already mentioned that there was probably 125, roughly, and of those, a good portion of them, they were being cut off, the barrels, and so that really kind of makes this gun unique and very, in a way, very rare, right? So what was the process for you to be able to even come across or to be able to get this gun into your hands?
So this gun, it took about 5 or 6 years of searching online, talking to people, anything I could find, because all I'd seen was a picture online years ago of this long barrel, and my first thought was, somebody put a long barrel on it. That's interesting, not a big deal.
So you see a picture in there, like you think that's aftermarket, like
right.
Somebody put a barrel on it.
Yeah, some kind of customization. Well, after further digging into it, I was like, oh, well, maybe this was something that wasn't a custom
modification.
Yeah, a custom modification. So looking more into it, I was able to find one over there on a website. It was at a gun shop there in the UK, and I was able to connect up with an importer and import this American-made gun back to the United States.
The US,
Back to the United States.
And so now, in a way, it's come back home.
Yep, it came back home. I was talking to one of the other guys over here, the rep from Ruger, and he said it was made in New Hampshire, which is where the Super Redhawks are made. So that makes sense. And brought it back home.
Very good.
To my home.
The good old US of A. So that's a very interesting story. To be able to actually get that into your hands is really cool. Another one of the comments that I've heard, a lot of people, it weighs 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so a good question is, when you hold it out, we had a couple people, and one person was holding, he's like, oh my gosh, this is, it's heavy and stuff. But then you asked him, you said, is it heavier than what you expected? And there's kind of a consistent no. It's actually surprisingly a lot easier to hold, a lot easier to grip than what one would expect. Yes, there's probably still a little bit of weight to it, but it's just not as much as you would expect, right?
Right, that's what I believe.
So now comes the second question. If it's not as heavy, what does it actually feel like to shoot?
To me, it felt like shooting more of a 9mm. There's enough weight on there that when I was shooting it, the barrel just came up just a little bit, but I think that counterweight, I guess, from the bullet firing right here and that energy transfer over here, it came up a little bit, but it was more of a soft bounce than you'd expect from a .44 Magnum.
I'd like to take a moment to inform you of my Patreon page. Our mission at Rugged Tactical is to take you on a journey exploring the reasons why people own guns and how firearm ownership can have a positive impact in their lives. If you'd like to get on our mailing list, head over to patreon.com/ruggedtactical. There you can click on the free membership icon and add your email information. If you enjoy the content that I'm creating and would like to support the channel, consider joining one of our paid membership tiers. We have the Recruit, the Sharpshooter, and the Tactical Master tiers. Thanks for joining me today, and let's head back over to the interview.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your display?
So on my display, I've got a picture here of the proof marks. So when this gun, when it was shipped initially to the UK, the British government stamps proof marks on it. They're basically laser engraved. One of them shows that the year that it was tested there in the UK. And there's three marks. One of them says the date that it came in. One says what it is, which is a nitro powder, basically not a black powder. It's a nitro powder. And then the other one is the London proof mark that shows that it came in through, that it came in legally. Because it was produced outside of the UK, and now it's coming in. They stamp all of them with those marks.
When they go through customs,
Yeah, basically to, to designate in their terms what the gun is when it was there.
In and of itself, then the stamps become a preservation of history as well. You know, a good portion, a good part of Rugged Tactical is trying to preserve history. If a person has a gun, there's usually a story behind it. And so the stamp marks are, in a way, the history of this gun as it's traveled outside of the U.S. and has come back.
Yep, they stamped the gun right here. On my display here, I've got a letter from, that I've requested from the Ruger factory that says they made approximately 125 units, and this one this one in particular was produced in March, and it shipped in June, which is consistent with the date proof mark from the London Proof Code, which is the mark up on the front. So all these things are matching up. So
it all lines up to show and prove that this is definitely like not some sort of modification.
Right.
I mean, this is the original gun that was originally sent out, right? And then has now come back. Yeah.
That's correct. I'm really excited to have it. I think it's great that I could bring something like this to the public, and one of the we've talked about it before. One of the reasons that I like to come to gun shows is to teach people about what's out there. Like this is really cool, but not something that anybody's really ever going to see. But to be able to bring it here to show people, let them look at it, give them a good smile.
Yeah.
As they try to pull the quick shot action that people walking by, we see them do it all the time.
Yep. It's so much. I'm telling you, it's so much fun to watch people walk by and look at your gun.
You get that smile.
They get that smile.
It's a lot of fun.
And they all want to pull it out and shoot it.
Yep. That's right.
So in conjunction with the displays here, there's a couple different organizations. You have RCA, which is the Ruger Collectors Association. You also have ROCS, which is Ruger Owners Collectors Society. When they get together, they have a little banquet, and then they also have awards where they will go through and judge the displays. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when we set up these Ruger displays, I'm a part of the Ruger Owners and Collectors Society, and the person that puts on the show will ask people to volunteer to go through and judge. And so we'll go through, and this show I took that opportunity, and I was given a judging form with specific criteria, and I walked through and looked at and talked to the displayers, read their displays, and then basically judged them on this criteria, and not judging my own, of course.
Yep. You had a line out, so you couldn't judge your own.
I had a line out, so I couldn't judge my own.
Yeah.
And so it gave me a good chance to walk through and spend some time looking at each display and learning about guns that are not my forte, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I learn about other people's collections and see what's out there, and then all of these judging forms. I believe there were 6 judging forms. Were rounded up, and
they kind of tallied up.
Yep, they're tallied up, and then at the banquet, one of the activities that we do is after dinner, the Ruger Owners and Collectors Society will present awards for 3 different categories.
Yeah.
There's the novice class, which is usually your first-time displayers, first or second-time displayers, and then there's the intermediate class and the advanced class. And once you win an award in a novice class, for example, you move up into intermediate class. Last night I had the pleasure of winning the first place in the advanced class for my display, so I was really excited about that. That was really a bit of a shock, but it was really cool.
Ruger Collectors Display Show, Nampa, Idaho, January 4th to 5th, 2025. First place advanced. I've been here, I've met a lot of people. I feel like there's a great camaraderie. Last night when we went to the banquet dinner, we had a good time. Great food, it was incredible. And then to be able to recognize certain displayers for their displays, the creativity and the guns in and of themselves. There's a lot of work that goes into the displays, a lot of thought. It's been fun.
So one of the things I've really enjoyed about collecting guns, coming to the gun shows, going to the banquets, is the camaraderie here, right? So being part of the Ruger Owners and Collectors Society, this is not a setup where it's one collection versus another, right? Like this is really cool. Like I've had a couple of very interesting guns come my way that other people were in the position to buy, right? So I get a call saying, "Hey, Joel, I've got this Super Redhawk. This gun belongs in your collection. I want to make sure that you get first shot at it if you want. If not, that's fine.
Yeah.
But did you have the shot because this goes with your collection. We want you to have
because
it.
it's what you have an interest in, right?
Yeah, it's one thing I've really appreciated about this group of people and coming to the gun shows, and when things come up like that, we're working together to build each other up, which is what I think it's all about. And these are some of the these people around here are what make it worth it to me.
A lot of like-minded individuals with the same interests and hobbies, but with slight variations and niches to be able to help each other out so that you can kind of complete your specific collections, just as a testament to the hobby in and of itself and in general. Right?
That's what makes
it fun.
It's not a bad
place. Yep.
That's what makes it fun.
Thank you very much, Joel, for sharing with us your story and your journey in essentially finding this elusive gun. Meaning, when you saw it, you were like, what is that? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Doing the research, doing the legwork, watching for it, and then actually being able to make it happen, right? It wasn't just a one day just look at it and find it and pick it up, right? No, this was much more detailed, much more intensive. How long did it take you to find one?
I was looking for this. Once I saw the initial picture, which I didn't know if it was real, I was looking for probably 5 or 6 years, and even at that, it still took me about 7 or 8 months to actually get it from point A to point B.
Yeah. I also hear that there's another one of these similar in the works.
Yeah, we're hoping to see that one at about the end of the month, so the end of January.
Yeah. Now, do you want to tell us a little bit about that, or perhaps in a future video?
I'm happy to provide a teaser, I guess.
Okay.
It's an identical gun essentially, except it's in a different caliber. And the significance of that is the caliber is a .357 as opposed to this one being a .44. So in the Super Redhawks, there was not another model produced in the .357 caliber. So currently today, you can go to Cabela's, Sportsman's, wherever, and buy 44 Super Redhawks, the .454 Casull, the .480 Ruger, 10 millimeter, even a 41 mag are out there, but there was not ever one produced for retail sale in a .357 Magnum. So to me, that is a special type of unicorn.
Absolutely. Even would you say it's even more so than your 44 mag here?
Yeah,
potentially.
Just being that it's a different caliber, that's same platform, same everything, just different caliber. I think I think it's additionally interesting.
Yeah, and you'll have 2 of them then.
And I'll have 2 of them. Yeah.
Remember to like and subscribe. Pull the trigger on that bell icon. As the dust settles on another rugged tactical adventure, always remember to reload your curiosity. Keep the fires burning.
Catch you in the next round.
Thanks for watching. Thanks, Joel.
That's a tongue twister.
It is.